Let's do it.
Noah Salcedo, welcome to the My Tribe podcast.
It's just a pleasure for you having me on here, man, and I really appreciate the opportunity for you having me on your platform, so thank you for that.
Dude, of course. Where did we first meet? I know you were a vendor at Icepalooza, but yeah. I'm trying to put the piece together. Oh no, you reached out to me on Instagram, right?
Exactly, yeah. So the way everything started was when I had my brand, I started seeing I think it was an ad or something when it came up and it said Icepalooza, and I was like, yo, this looks like a really dope event. And I was like, I never seen something like this before because I'm originally from New York. So when I came out to Florida, I was like, all right, what is the best way I can get my brand into audience and to people that have the fitness mindset and health and wellness? And I was like, I'm going to hit up Icepalooza. And then from there, I think I DM'd you and you were like, yo, I remember talking to you on a phone call. And you were telling me, you were like, yo, I would love to have you come out. This is an event that I've been doing. And you told me, I was like, you love giving back to people that's in the health and wellness space and just trying to build a community with that. And then on top of that, you was like, oh, I'm also from New York. So I was like, okay, I love that, bro. 2 New Yorkers. I was like, why not? And then from there, we just got it started. So,
dude, it was, now it's all coming back to me now as well. I'm just like, dude, this is a wild, synchronistic meeting. It was pretty awesome in that sense. And so tell me a little bit about Nonstop.
Yeah. So Nonstop, bro. So this takes me back from when I started. So the way Nonstop got started, pretty much to spin off everything, just to get to the point, was that a little bit of background information about me was that I was a basketball player my whole life. I was an athlete. I played throughout high school. I played in college, and me as an undersized guard, I was always an underdog. So you see me, I'm 5'8", and at the end of the day, basketball is a big man sport. So my whole life, I had to prove something to somebody, and I always had to be the one to, because the minute I walked through the door, it was already a no for me, because they see your stature, they see who you are, they're like, nah, this kid ain't gonna do it. So my whole life, I always had to work as hard as everyone and prove myself, and I was blessed enough to play at the highest level, which is college basketball, and which was a blessing itself. And the way the nickname got started, actually, my older brother Kev, he in New York, he used to call me Noah Nonstop Salcedo. So when people look at the initials, it's actually NS. It's Noah Salcedo. So the N is here and the S is here. So that's how the name became Nonstop, and that's from there. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's it almost looks like a New York Yankee kind of thing.
Yeah.
The N with the S. That's all. So why did he call you Noah Nonstop Salcedo back in the day?
So the reason for that is that I would be the one to push him, because I remember the way everything got started was that it's kind of crazy. He's not my blood brother, but he's someone to me that's like family to me. And I ended up meeting him through this camp, and he was working out all these kids, and he saw me, and he put me through certain things, and I would pick it up really quickly. And as time went on, just my work ethic was everything, because I was such a perfectionist in whatever I was doing, because I knew at the end of the day, if I'm going to play at the highest level there is, I'm going to have to be perfect. Because at the end of the day, you have someone who's 6 feet or 6'1" that could do the same thing as me, and I'm 5'8". What's going to separate you from me to that person at that stature? So the reason why I came with Nonstop is that throughout my life, I proved myself right. I always bet on myself regardless of what it is and regardless of not knowing the outcome that it was going to happen. So I remember he stayed with me for 2 weeks straight. He lived in my house. He came with me. Yeah, just kind of crazy.
Okay.
And we used to wake up at 4 in the morning every day. And we used to work out at least 2-3 times a day. And just from there, just having the grit and the work ethic, that was one thing that I said, regardless of wherever I went in basketball and to the day that I ended it, was that I want people to remember me by I outworked everyone. This kid works hard. It wasn't about how skillful I was, how much success I had. I wanted people to remember me by when he came inside the gym, he meant business, and he worked his ass off. He worked his butt off for anything that he got, because nothing was ever given to me. I always had to get it myself. So that's how he came up with the name Nonstop. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's it. It speaks a lot to what you have been doing. I mean, I'm seeing glimmers of your entrepreneurial spirit. How often you're doing events? You're telling me you were Crunch yesterday. I mean, you're here today. You're grinding, man. This is like a full time, full 7 days a week for you. How's that been for you?
Yeah. So so it's been tough. Like anyone I tell, nothing's easy, like especially being an entrepreneur. And I think not knowing the outcome of what anything is going to be, like I think it relates to basketball as well, because like there's even a time in my life, which I like to relate like my athletic life to my entrepreneurship life, because I think the two and two really come hand in hand. Because I like anybody, I think the hardest thing for people is to start, because you think everything has to be perfect in the beginning. Like you never know what the outcome is going to be. It's the same thing with basketball. So I think as like an entrepreneur, you have to have full faith in yourself and that unwavering doubt where it's like, okay, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You don't know where you're going to be at, but all you do know is what you control, which is your everyday things, which is like hustling day by day, talking to people, networking. And like me throughout this week, like it's tough because I'm actually still in school too. Like I'm doing that too. Like I'm finishing my my last year in school. So just I try to keep my mind sane, and just I think God plays, because I'm very faithful, and I believe in the man upstairs. And I think as long as you have faith in yourself and you really truly believe that everything's gonna work out, I think it will. So I think that's what gets me through my day-to-day week, just putting my head down, and also having a great support system behind me. Like my family is everything to me. So like them telling me like, yo, like regardless of what happens, we got you. Like we know that you're gonna succeed. You've been doing it your whole life, and this is just another stepping stone of doing something different that's not basketball. So just take that and pour it into your business. So yeah.
Wow. Faith, family,
Yeah.
and determination. That's what seems like it's getting you.
Yeah.
Getting you through. Man, those tough days, bro, they come.
Yeah.
They come when you got nothing left and you still gotta drive to Pompano to do another tabling, huh?
Yeah.
So I mean, what's the vision for Nonstop?
So pretty much my vision for it is I want to become like the biggest lifestyle brand there is. Like that's my goal. I don't want to be someone who, because like obviously I start out with the gym. Like that's why I started out. I was like, okay, back in the day, people didn't have electronics. Like we didn't have phones. We didn't have obviously all this social media now. So I'm like, okay, because a lot of people think like you need a lot of money to start something, and it's not, because you get in that mindset where it's like, okay, it's gonna be perfect. But as long as you start and keep going, that's what it is. So that's how I started with like all the pop-ups. I was like, all right, bet. Let me just like I used to go to bed probably around like 2, 3 in the morning, because I used to just be on my phone looking like events like run clubs, gyms that I could go to, and I literally would email and DM like probably every manager of every gym, every run club, every wellness event, which is how I met you. And I was like, okay, how can I get my brand in front of the eyes of the audience that I want for my brand? So my goal with that is to like a lifestyle brand, because I don't want to be just a gym brand. Like I want to be someone like how obviously you see Nike, you see Under Armour, but I want to be somewhere I could work with athletes, because I was an athlete myself. So me knowing what it is to be an athlete and go through that, like whether you're a basketball player, you're a football player, you're a soccer player, like that's like the bigger audience that I want to be in. That's what I want to get in touch with. So yeah.
Amazing, man. That's a high aspirations.
Yeah.
How do you manage those high aspirations on like a weekly basis, man?
Yeah. So pretty much, the way I probably take that in, like for aspirations, is that like it goes back to having more belief in yourself and not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring, which is why actually one of my slogans is remember tomorrow. And people ask me, what does that mean? And the meaning to it for me and for the brand is that for example, I was an athlete, and I remember I used to come home, like, let's say I had a 30-point game, right? And I killed. I did whatever I had to do for that day, that present time. But at the end of the day, like people tell you, your best game is your last game. And no matter what, you're going to have to wake up tomorrow and do this shit all over again. And the minute you stop is, like people tell you, like the minute you stop with something, that just takes you 2 years back of whatever you were working towards. So it's just like having that consistency of like nonstop, remember tomorrow, like, yo, I'm going to have to wake up and do this over and over and over and over again, because the minute you stop, that goal that you had for yourself, you're probably not going to reach it, because like we were just talking about before, like it's not about the end goal, it's about the journey. And so many people get in this like mindset of like, damn, when I do this, I'm going to feel successful. And it's like, it's not always about that, because you remember all the things that you've been through that led you there. And I think as a person, I think it just feels so much better, because you know all the hardship and all the obstacles you've been through to get to that point that you want to get to. Because like once you hit that, you're like, man, I did it. Like it's like I did all of this, but it took all this day by day training, working hard, whatever that goal is to get to that substantial that you want to hit. And that's what it's about.
Tell me a story about when you reflect on the journey of Nonstop.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that comes to mind?
I'll tell you, my first year of probably one of the hardest things was probably my first year of college. So the way everything happened was that I had a showcase in Miami. At the time, COVID was hitting. I was still at my prep school my senior year, which is the Pennington School in South Jersey. So I was taking online classes in Florida when I was still in school in Jersey. And the reason why that happened was that I got a phone call. I had a showcase in Miami, a basketball showcase, because at the time I was trying to go to school at Palm Beach Atlantic. I wanted to play for them, and that I had this mindset of that I want to play for this school. Even though I had offers in New York, it was just more so for myself, because I had such a belief, and I believed in the word of like, when you believe in yourself and you manifest something that you want for yourself, you're going to have to go get it regardless. And I think for me, it was just more so like, if I don't get this done, I feel like more like, not a failure to myself, but it was like, how can I preach something that I'm not doing? So I was like, all right. So I had the showcase in Miami. I did really well. And 2 days after that, I ended up coming back, and I got a phone call. It was like, yo, we want you to come out here, play with a travel team, and you could get looks at colleges. You'll see, at least you get more exposure in the Florida realm because you're in New York. So if you want to go to school out here in Florida, you're going to have to play out here. So from there, right, I did that. I ended up going to PBA, and my freshman...
Palm Beach Atlantic.
Yeah, Palm Beach Atlantic, yeah.
Just make
so, yeah, so Palm Beach Atlantic, and my first year, the head coach that was there, David Balza, he ended up retiring. So now the recruitment process changes now.
So the guy that recruited you
was gone.
Okay.
So now at that point, it got to the point where it's like the new coach came in and he was hiring a whole new roster. So at that point, I'm like, okay, that was my first year off in college basketball where I didn't play a single game in my season. And I took a year off. And some people know this that are close to me, but others really don't know that. And I'll never forget, like I remember calling my mom that year because it was so hard, because I was even willing to like walk on, because I was like, all right, if I could prove to myself, like I remember having meetings with him and I was like, if I could prove to you that I belong on this team, then just give me the chance. But I didn't get that. So I never...
Didn't give you a tryout? Nothing?
No, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, so from there, I'll never forget, bro. I remember calling my mom and my dad, and I was just crying because I was just so upset of like everything that I did. I'm like, bro, why is this like, people getting to the worry of like, why is this happening to me? And I stopped myself, and that was probably the biggest point in my life, because I'm like, okay. And it comes down to like unwavering faith, because you don't know the outcome now. I'm in Florida. I'm taking a year off. I don't know what schools is going to recruit me for next year. Like, what am I going to do? So there's two options. Either you sit down your ass and you give up, or you have now this off season to work on your game and get better. And that's what I did. I ended up, that whole season, I trained like I was playing a basketball season. Even though I was not on the team, I still worked my ass off because I knew that faith in your mind, like, yo, there's going to come a day that I'm going to get an opportunity and I have to be ready. So just about staying ready for that opportunity, even though you don't know it's going to come, but deep down you have to know within yourself, like, yo, this is going to happen. And from there I was blessed enough to meet this pro trainer, and his name is Bryce Jenkins. And he's been a mentor to me like my whole life throughout like my basketball career, from me coming to Florida and playing in college. And from there, he ended up getting me, he was alumni at Kaiser College, Kaiser basketball, yeah.
Okay.
Which is a NAIA college basketball school. And he was like, bro, I could get you in there regardless. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get you on the team, but I could get you somewhere just to look at you and get you an opportunity. And I remember that whole summer, bro, I was just working, and on top of me like working and going throughout this, I had like college coaches, I had players that played with me that are playing Division I, they're playing college, either D3, D2, or D1, and they're like, yo, Noah, why you not playing right now? Like, what's going on? Like, why don't you just want to come back home and play for a school that like wants you? And I know I could have done that, but it was just more so I had this goal in my mind that like, if I don't achieve this, then I'm going back on my word of everything that the reason why I came to Florida was for. And thankfully from there, bro, Bryce, he got me the opportunity. I ended up playing, so my first year, this is crazy, this is another like, my first year, so they have two teams. They have a developmental team, and then they have the real actual varsity team.
At Kaiser?
At Kaiser.
Okay.
And now you see this kid from New York, you see a small guard, which no one knows me out there because everyone back at home is where I was recruited and what people knew about me. So I was like, all right. And I was like, the only way I'm going to get to here is if I do this my first year. And what I did, I remember sitting down with myself and I was like, am I really going to go with this and like play at a position where I know I'm not supposed to be playing at? And I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe God is testing me on something that, regardless of how uncomfortable it feels, that I think the outcome, if I really put my mind to it, I'm going to do it. So that first year I played Devo, I killed. And I remember we used to have like scout where like we used to play against the varsity team. And I knew that day would come where it's like, all right, the only way I'm going to get to here is I'm going to have to kill people. Because like at the end of the day, like it's either you're going to be E or Ian. At the end of the day, like when it comes to this basketball stuff, like it's business at the end of the day. Like, and you have to understand, like, especially at my stature, like it's either you have to be a dog and you have to take what you want or you're not going to get anything. So from there, man, I played well. I made, like I was like MVP, I made first, second team of the league. Averaged about like 18, 7 a game. Like I was doing really well. I was playing well, and I got my opportunity.
That was you were doing that on the Devo team?
Yeah.
Playing other Devo teams or playing other?
I was playing other Devo teams at the time.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was just killing because I was like, all right, the only way is if I do well enough, maybe the coach will see me and I'll be able to move up. I was like, that's the only way, because I was like, I'm not going back home. I was like, that was just for myself. I was like, I'm not going to go back home. And I remember at the end of my season, we were getting towards the chip, and we had practice that day, and I just got the call saying like my coach, his name's Coach Seth, and I remember him telling me, he's like, yo, you're gonna get moved up next year. Like I got the phone call, he was like, bro, congratulations. Wow. And I remember playing, so we had practice that day, I'll never forget, and we were practicing, and I came off a screen, and my knee just twisted, and I dislocated my knee. That last practice of before getting to the chip, and I'll never forget, bro. I was sitting down so angry because I was like, I just worked so hard to get to where I was at, and now I'm like thinking negatively, like, yo, am I gonna still be able to get the opportunity? And more of the story to try to shorten it up. I ended up coming back. I had that whole off season. I took like probably like 8 months to recover, and even then I think I rushed myself back into it just to play for my first year. Like I was obviously on the regular team, and I perceived through that, and I was able to play. And through all that, like that just goes to show like who I am and why I made the brand, because my goal was to play college basketball. That was my biggest goal, because I was like, so many people told me I wasn't going to be able to do it, that I was too small, that it wasn't possible. So for me to be on the team and show out of like all the skill and all the work that I put into was like a blessing in myself. And it goes to show you that like why my brand represents who I am and what the message is behind the brand is just having full faith in yourself and just going and not giving up no matter how hard and how things look, because you never know what the unknown is. Like the unknown is a scary thing to people, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whatever, but the things that you can control is within yourself. And like I seen it all. Like I remember like IT quoted, he said, in basketball, the game, you're going to love the game, but sometimes the game's not going to love you back. Ooh. And I think that's such a hard quote from one of my favorite basketball players was Isaiah Thomas, undersized guard.
Small guard, yeah.
So, and I literally, like, I resonate with that because I seen it all. I was a starter. I was one of the best players on my team, to me not playing at all, and to also coming off the bench and still killing, still not getting that opportunity. So like I was able to see all the highs and lows of basketball and like what the game would do to you. And I think like even for me, like it's bigger than myself, because like even when my years of college and I didn't play as much, at the end of the day it's like, okay, I still have to show up, and you still have to. That's where discipline comes into like your aspect of life, because like, all right, now you made a commitment. Like anything, like I tell everyone, regardless of whenever you start something, it's like you're signing a contract within yourself, because the day you start something, it's like, okay, I'm gonna stay committed to this, and I'm gonna go as far as I can. I can take this regardless of where you end up. But so for me, like even showing up to practice and not knowing like, okay, like no matter what I do, that I'm not getting the opportunity, then it sucks. But it's more so just being disciplined to who you are and believing in yourself regardless of what other people think. And I say, like, even now, like Nonstop, I believe it's bigger than who I am, because I have a family. I feel like I have eyes on me, where it's like you never know. Like even for I have a younger brother, and him watching me go to practice, showing him the clips of me doing well, killing, and still not playing. And it goes to show him, because being as an older brother, I want to show him something like, look, life's not easy, and there's going to be times where you're not going to get everything that you want. And what are you going to do with that? Are you just going to sit down and quit and let them have that over you? Where it's like, okay, yeah, he quit, he broke. Like, he was weak, he couldn't withstand whatever obstacle, whatever time that at that moment of time you were going through. So I always had that in the back of my mind, like, yo, like, if I quit now, like, how is my brother gonna view me? How am I setting a great role model for him in terms of life? Because that could even happen, not even on the court, but at a workplace, or you being an entrepreneur. Like, there's gonna be times where it's like, you're gonna get hit with something, and it's gonna hurt and it's gonna suck, but it's more so, what are you gonna do when that obstacle comes, rather than just sitting down and allowing that to take over. And I think that's why I think the brand represents that, and that's what Nonstop really means. It's just having that unwavering desire and faith in yourself, regardless of what obstacles are going to come and derail us from our goals and dreams in life, because that's what it's about. Nonstop, just keep going every day and just keep pushing. And that's what I'm trying to build for myself, and also just a community of people that resent to that, because I feel like everyone has a relatability to that, regardless of that you're an athlete, you're a business owner, because at the end of the day, we're all chasing something. We're all trying to be successful, and that's why I made the brand, because so many people try to bash that instead of uplifting others. And like that's why you always hear the quote, like, people want to see you do good but never better than them.
Oof.
And I think that's such a good thing. So just to have like a platform in a community where it's like, this is what Nonstop means. Like, all right, we're gonna build a community of people that are chasing something, and we're gonna uplift them and not bash that, where like, or hate on that. Because I know what it is to struggle, and I know what it is to hustle. So how am I gonna take that away from someone else who's trying to just do the same thing? And it goes into even deeper than that. Like now, like that's why I like who I am and what my brand is, because like people say, like the clothing space, right? It's a competitive thing. Like everyone says, yo, Noah, like the clothing space is really competitive. And I always tell people, I go, yeah, 100% it is. And I've been dealing with that my whole life, bro. It's like I was an underdog. I was an undersized guard playing a big man sport. And now I'm doing the same thing with clothing. Like comparison, like that's why you always hear the quote, like comparison is the thief of joy. Because the minute you start worrying about like what other people are doing and what people are doing around you who have established themselves, like those big companies that are right now, like they had to start somewhere too. Like, and you got to think about that, like Nike, Under Armour, like all these big companies, like they weren't just big. They didn't just get big overnight. Like
And flip open overnight, yeah.
it was all the hours and all the things that people unseen that people don't know about.
Yeah. You ever read his book?
Yeah.
Shoe Dog? It's a great book.
It's a great
man.
book, bro.
It's a great book.
So just having that same thing where it's like now my basketball life can relate to my entrepreneur life, because there's gonna come a day, like I tell everyone, bro, just put your head down, and there's gonna come a day where like you're gonna look up and be like, damn, I fucking did it. But you're not gonna know that until you keep going. So that's why I think the brand and the message behind it and the community I'm trying to build like resents with that. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That's a powerful message, number one. One thing that seems to be a common theme is proving someone wrong.
Yeah. Why
is that important to you?
I think, and I tell people, because people do use proving other people wrong, and I try to not say that, even though people tend to use that. I try to use it as more so proving yourself right at the end of the day, because no matter what other people say, you know in your heart what your worth is. Like, regardless of what people are saying to you, regardless of what they're telling you what you can or cannot do, but the only person that is in charge of that is you. And I think that's what I always say, bro, like you're the creator of your reality. Like the world we live in is just in your hands, but you don't know how much power you really have. But as long as you have that within yourself, I think you can do anything in this world. Like it's crazy, but it's the truth, because like we have all this now, and it came from someone believing in themselves. Like all these people, all these famous, successful people, like there were so many people who told them no, like that you weren't gonna do it. And did they just lay back and allow that? Nah. And that's the reason why they're successful, is because they believed in themselves and they proved themselves right, regardless of what anyone has to think or care about. So yeah.
They were crazy enough to just not stop.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
I want to say keep going, but non-stop, bro.
Yeah.
It's I was telling my buddy the other day, I'm like, dude, business isn't about like, it's scaling, it's this, it's that, but it's really just like who can stay in the game long enough, who can be consistent enough, and at the end of the day, your competitors are just going to fall off. And then if you're in the game long enough and you're succeeding, you're growing, guess what? Like, you've survived, and that's it. Like, you're now the Nike, you're the Under Armour, you're the Nonstop. Like, that's just what it is, and it's just the ability to keep going. I mean, I know you relate a lot of your entrepreneurial to your athletic kind of correlation. What is it in business that directly correlates to you where you're like, oh, this is like taking 100 free throws. This is what is comparison there for you personally?
Probably, I'll say, okay, maybe two things. You're asking like if how does business relate to my athletic life?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say one probably being. Maybe caught me off guard there a little bit. Let me see. Probably my Okay. Probably determination is one. Definitely. Determination. And two, I think the way you interact with people, I think goes a long way in because you never know who you're talking to and who you're meeting. And like actually have a story about like how before even Nonstop became like the performance wear brand, and it's kind of crazy. I was at the time I was trying to figure out, like, this was probably a couple months or probably a year or two back, and I was in the moment of like trying to get my brand off the ground, and I was trying to figure out what my niche was. And in the beginning I started off with actually with streetwear. And which is kind of crazy because I was from New York, so I was big into fashion. I always wanted to dress a certain way and look a certain way, so I was like, all right, let me try streetwear. So I ended up designing a graphic T-shirt, and it was for the Drake concert. So Drake ended up having a concert in Miami for 2 days. And I remember probably like 3 or 4 months prior to that, I designed the shirt, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make probably like 500 T-shirts. And I'm like, how am I gonna get this money, right? Like, how am I like?
You're gonna lay out the cash for 500 T-shirts.
500 T-shirts for a 2-day concert.
Okay.
And I was like, and I had this vision in my mind. I was like, okay, like if I can get down to Miami and get in front of all these people, because you're thinking about a concert and you're talking about Drake, so like the amount of people that are gonna be in Miami is probably insane. So I had this vision. I was like, yo, I'm gonna just make a fire ass like graphic tee for Drake, and I'm gonna sell it in the Miami concert.
You're gonna sell it like out your car, like on your
street.
arm and shit.
Yeah, bro. So
bad. Okay.
So the way it started, now some people ask like, how did I get the money? I ended up having like a business proposal to this family friend of mine. His name's Terrell.
Okay.
And he has an electrical company he owns like all of like Miami. He does really well. And I was like, okay, as a man, it's like, this is like the first time that I'm going to another man and asking for funds. And I'm asking now for someone to believe in me and the vision that I have. So I remember having the meeting with him, and I told him, I was like, I'm gonna go to a Drake concert. I'm making these tees, but I need about $4 or $5 grand of funds because I don't have it. But I was like, I could promise to you that I could get you that money in 2 days. And he was like, what? And I was like, I promise you. I was like, I looked at him in the eye, and I'll never forget this day, because I was like, this was the beginning of something that is going on now. So I told him, I was like, I'm gonna go down to Miami, I'm gonna sell the T-shirts, and I'm gonna get you back your money. And I promise you, if you don't, then I won't even ask you for another dollar. And he looked at me, he said, you know what? He said, just by you coming to me, and it shows a lot about, one, the type of man you are, the type of confidence you have in yourself, and what you're trying to offer and what you're trying to do, I'll help you out. And what he did, he ended up lending me the money. I ended up making 500 T-shirts, like I said, and it's kind of crazy too. At the time, I'm still an athlete, so I'm still playing college at this time. Okay. And I remember I had a late practice, and the concert was, I believe it was Saturday and Sunday. It was like no, it was Thursday or Friday, my bad. So the concert was Thursday and Friday, and I had practice that day, that Thursday. And then I had practice the next morning early at like 9, 10 a.m. the clock. And I'm like, all right, how the fuck am I gonna do this? I'm like, all right, there's only one way. So literally right after practice, it was me, my brother, my father, and my cousin Mark, we ended up going down to Miami with probably about like 6 suitcases full of t-shirts, bro. Like, this shit is like, you can't make this shit up, bro. Like, there's some crazy shit. And my teammates, like, I remember at the time, they're like, yo, bro, where you going? And some of my teammates bought like the Drake tees that I made. They bought it off me. They're like, yo, this is fire. They're like, good luck. So I'll never forget, like, I left practice and I shot out to Miami. It was probably around like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And the first night we did well. Like, I didn't set it up too much, but like, I literally put the suitcase on the floor. Like, it's, bro, like, this is some crazy shit, bro.
Some Chinatown shit,
yeah,
bro.
Some like Chinatown shit, bro. And I'll never forget this shit, bro, because it's crazy. I remember the Kaseya Center was right there, and across the street, I made sure that where all the audience was coming, I made sure to be right on that street. So literally what I did is, like, me and my brother, we just put the suitcases down right on the street, and my cousin and my dad were at the parking lot across the street. And when I tell you, man, like, just in one night, bro, like, we sold half of the t-shirts that I made in just the first night. And like,
don't
bro,
talk no numbers. Drake's gonna come after your ass, bro.
I know. But yeah, bro, it's crazy.
Wow.
And bro, I wish I had like a camera, bro, to film this day, because it's crazy. All you see is me and my brother running back and forth across the street of Miami, bro. All the cars are lined up. I'm just running back and forth, because it got to a point there where, like, the t-shirts started running out. And I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, so we did that, right? That was the first night. And I ended up coming back home around probably like 2, 3 a.m., bro. We all got back home. My father had work in the morning.
Oh my
my brother had school, and I had practice and school the next day. And I'm like, fuck, bro, I'm gonna be tired. And I woke up at 9 a.m. and I did that shit again. The next day we went, I ended up getting a table, because I was like, bro, I can't do this running back shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get hit by a car or something, bro. Like, this is some crazy shit. And I was like, all right, we're gonna bring a table this time. And I parked myself right by across the street from the Kaseya Center. And I was like, all right, I had a table layout. I put all my packaging, like all the Drake t-shirts on the table laid out.
Yeah.
And who else I had with me? Also, my brother's girlfriend at the time, she came as well,
Okay.
so she helped out. And I'll never forget, bro, that night, all the people came in, and bro, I sold out everything.
What?
I sold out 500 t-shirts in 2 nights.
What?
And, which is crazy, to the point where it's like, my dad I literally have videos, bro, of my dad showing me, like, it was me and my brother together, and the last t-shirt we had to take it off. Like, people were like, I was like, yo, these are the last t-shirts that I have.
It was on your back?
It was on my back. And I told the kid, I have the video, my dad still has the video to this day, and I was like, yo, you want this t-shirt? I was like, this is the last one. He was like, you want it? I'll take it off right now. And bro, the video, my dad's showing it, like, recording it, and me and my brother just take our t-shirts off, bro.
Wow.
And we give it to him. Bro, after that day, when I tell you, bro, I was such in shock, because I felt so happy within myself, because I was like, bro, I did it. I was like, the thing that I said I was gonna do, I fucking did it. Because my mindset was like, I gotta get back his money. That was my goal. I was like, regardless of anything, he's gonna get back his money, and obviously I'll make profit off that. But the main goal was that to make sure that I give back this guy's money. Yeah. And bro, I remember coming home the next day, and it was late. I got home again like 2, 3 in the morning. I had practice, and bro, I remember like telling my teammates, they were like, bro, that's fucking crazy. They were like, how the fuck did you do it? And I was like, bro, I don't know. I was like, I just believed in myself, and I had a team around me who believed in the same thing, and it just worked out. And it goes to show you, like, again, like, what my brand means and who I am as a person. Just believing in yourself and not knowing what the outcome is, but having fully confidence in yourself and like, yo, I'm gonna do this shit. Like, regardless of what you tell me or what everyone says, like, I'm gonna do this and it's gonna work. And just having that support system around me, I guess, really helped me. And I was just like, and from that day on, bro, I was like, you know what, bro? this could be something. And I was like, I don't know yet what it can be, but I think this space, like this clothing space, I think I could do something with it. And from there, I remember sitting down with my dad, and he was like, Nonstop. He was like, I remember calling my brother too that night. He was like, Noah Nonstop. He was like, bro, the name is Nonstop. That sounds like athletic apparel. He was like, when you think of Nonstop, you think of moving, persistency, like working out. He was like, that sounds like an athletic brand. And he was like, bro, I'm telling you, you should make an athletic brand. I think you could run with it. And from there, bro, like I started with, because even on my bio now, it says it started with 20 pairs of shorts.
Okay.
So at the time, mesh shorts were really big. Like that was like the big niche that everyone started doing, like, oh, mesh shorts. Everyone had to have mesh shorts. And I made 20 of them. And I'll never forget this day, bro. The first package that came in, bro, everything was fucked up, bro. Like this, bro, the fucking sizing, like, bro, the sizing was so big, like a small looked like an extra large.
Oh, Jesus.
My logo, like now, obviously it's simplified.
Yeah.
But, bro, my logo was like this big on the short. And
oh, my goodness.
I was like, damn, I fucked up. But I still got it off, and I still made my money back. I was still able to sell it. And I was like, you know what? Like anything, like it goes to show you, like, as long as you start, that's the main thing. Because in the beginning, everything's not going to be perfect. Like, bro, I had no background of clothing. I had no idea what fabric were. I didn't know that when you have a manufacturer, you have to lay out a whole tech pack, sizing, the exact sizing you want for the shorts, the way you want it to fit, the exact logo size. I didn't know none of that. And
just dove in.
I just dove in. And as time went on, I just learned as I went. And as I was learning more, the more I researched, the more I studied, I could see within my brand it was growing. And then once I got to that point, I was like, all right, let's do it. And then ever since, bro, now that's what I've been doing now. Like I do pop-ups like now, because that's what I know. I know what it is to hustle, like the hustle, and I love it. So it doesn't feel like a job to me. Because like even now, like I'm still building my capital within like all my followers now, like everything's organic. Like nothing, I have not spent no money on ads, like about just like financially, like my website, everything. Like everything I've been doing is by me going out and word of mouth. So like that's how I knew it, because I was like, yo, back in the day, people used to sell on the streets. Like that's how
suitcases,
like,
bro.
bro. That's how it was. And just to start something now, like even now, like I'm not even close to, obviously I'm not nowhere near where I want to be, but just to show like where I'm at now, like there was a point in time in my life that I was praying for what I'm doing now. And it comes back to self-reflection, like bro, like there's never gonna be a day that like the end goal, there's never gonna be a day like when it happens and you're just gonna be like, oh, it feels good. It's all the stuff you had to do to get to that point. So like that's how, like that's the message of the brand, is that being that unwavering belief in yourself, and just to keep going, and to not to give up, because life could be so big for yourself when you have full belief in yourself. So that's how everything got started, and that's why I am where I am now, doing this brand. So yeah, bro, it's crazy. But
what kind of like reach or following, like where are you at in that regard?
So like my following right now it's almost about to be at 3,000 followers right now, and that's
personal,
yeah,
or that's Nonstop?
That's Nonstop myself.
Okay.
So just
beautiful.
3,000 followers that I'm getting towards now, and even then, like this is me only pushing this now for 8-9 months.
Wow.
That's
huge.
Which is crazy, because at the time I was an athlete, so like basketball was everything to me. That's all I had. I had like no other job. That was my job. So now, like the minute I decided within myself, like okay, like I want to start this brand, because you have to choose and choose, like anything. Like regardless of whatever you're doing, if you put your all into something, that's where you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever you do. So when I stopped basketball, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my heart in it. And from now, it's been 8 to 9 months, and that's how I've grown that following, by going to events like run clubs, Isopalooza. Like gyms, health and wellness events, and now it's even getting to the point where it's like I'm blessed. Like people are reaching out to me. Like I'm getting DMs now. Like people want me to come out and either sponsor their events or just come out to their audience. And I'm like, wow, bro, this is a blessing because I was the one reaching out to everyone.
Yeah.
Now. But now it's little by little, it's just growing day by day, and more people are seeing it. They're loving the message behind it, and the fabric. Like fabric for me is everything. Like. What's gonna, obviously, like anything, like what's gonna separate me between obviously all these bigger brands that are happening now?
Yeah, well, that competition, how am I gonna
separate myself? So for me, what I'm doing now is like my fabric. I think that's what separates me, my fabric and my price point, because so many people are going like, that's what, like when I go to these events, like people, I'll stop people because at the end of the day, like anything, like people would see you, but they'll walk by. So like anything, you have to go get what you're trying to do. So like I would stop people. I'd be like, excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you. Like all I ask is that if you just come over, feel the fabric. And they'd be like, yeah, sure, that takes no harm. And the minute they see the quality of the clothes and then the person behind it and the message, that's what gets them. They're like, bro, you're selling this for only like a girl say, I go to events and they're like, you're only selling this set for $50? And they're like, what? They're like, bro, I buy a bra for like a sports bra for like $58 by itself.
Wow.
And I'm like, you're getting it for a set. I'm like,
you get a whole set for $50? Wow.
$50. And they're like, oh, it's crazy. But you have to think too, like obviously there's gonna come a day that I would like to more raise my prices with everything. But like I tell everyone in the beginning, like your goal is to get your clothing on as many people as possible. Because I tell everyone, I look at people like walking billboards. Like that's how I look at it, as like the minute you see someone like with the logo and the more people see it on other people, the more people are gonna buy. Like anything, like people like to buy shit from people that everyone likes. So like they're like, oh bro, where's that brand? You got it too? Oh, now I need to buy it. I gotta buy it now if you have it, because how am I not gonna have it?
I agree. Yeah, so many people. Everybody's a walking billboard. You just don't realize it. You're either wearing your brand, or you're wearing Phil Knight's brand, or you're wearing Reebok's brand. You're making a decision one way or another. Yeah. But I agree with that. Like you go to the gym, you see like a Gymshark. Like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And then you see it online. You see it again. You see it again. You're like, oh, now. You start to associate that. Like, oh, well, if I need a new pair of shorts, I'm going to go get what the last, 6 jacked guys were just wearing because I'm going to be the 7th, essentially. Exactly, So why can't that be Nonstop? Like so it's your differentiators are
my fabric, my price point, and the message behind the brand and the person who I am that's behind my brand. Is myself. So I think that's what separates me from obviously all these bigger brands now, and what I'm trying to be at one day is that's how I've been able to market myself and build a following, is because my fabric, my price point, and the message. Because I feel like at the end of the day, people buy from people they feel relatable to and feel genuinely connected to, because when people wear it, like at the end of the day, it's bigger than just a t-shirt and shorts. Like obviously the logo, anyone could put a logo on a t-shirt and be like, okay, yeah, this is my brand. But the deeper message behind it is like, why am I wearing your brand? Why am I gonna put on a t-shirt and give money to you for me to wear something that I don't believe in? So the thing is like, okay, once they hear the message of the brand, people feel relatable to it. Like Nonstop, like, yeah, bro, I relate to that. Like, I understand people feel relatable to me because, like, all the stuff I've been through. And from me believing in myself to get to the point where I was at, I think it's relatable to a lot of people because, like I said before, like, everyone's trying to chase something. Everyone's trying to be successful in this world, which I hope so, and I want everyone to be successful in whatever they're doing. Which is why when they buy the clothes from me, they're like, bro, like, that's real. Like, and I feel relatable to the message. So like when people wear the brand, they're like, all right, this is why I'm wearing this brand. This is the meaning behind it. This is why I wear Nonstop.
What should they believe when they're wearing the brand?
I think yourself. Like, just believe believe fully in yourself and whatever goals and dreams you have for yourself. Like, that's why Nonstop, like the meaning behind it, and it goes so much deeper. Like, bro, the minute you are born, like I tell people, what is nonstop about yourself? Like, if you look internally, and I say the heartbeat, your heartbeat is nonstop. And I say every day is a blessing, because if God wakes you up the next day and you're not dead, there's a reason. Because you haven't fulfilled whatever your goal or whatever you're meant to be in this world for. And I think that resonates with people, because like, if you wake up, that's what I tell everyone, bro. Like, if you wake up, that's a blessing itself, because you're alive. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason you're alive. You just don't know it yet, but there's a reason why you're still living and breathing. And the reason is because we all come in this world with a gift. And I think everyone has to reach their potential of their gift, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Which is why also my other slogan is unleash your potential, because you never know how far you can go somewhere if you just didn't give up on yourself. Because how are you going to know how far you can go if you were just going to sit down one day and be like, yo, I'm done? Mm. Like, that's the end of it. The minute you stop trying, there's no outcome. So I think just having that like resonate with people is a beautiful thing. So,
what is your gift?
My gift. Honestly, for myself, I think my gift is I really think is to inspire people. Like, I that's my goal. Like, within the brand, like if we're talking about like the outskirt and everything that I want to do with this brand is inspire people. Like, to inspire that kid at home that you don't know that he's watching you, and like you're giving that kid hope. Like, that's where I want to be. I want to be a person who gives other people hope, because I want to get to the day where it's like, this shit is so big where like I could give back to people and change other people's life, because I know what it is for someone not to believe in you, but I also know what it is for someone to give you a chance and believe in you. So like, if I'm able to do that and change someone else's life, that's like bigger than who I am. Like, that's the goal. Like, my goal is to give back to the community and society, because I feel like even for like, you know, Christmas, like I feel like receiving gifts for me, like in general, it's great, but it's so much better when you could give back to someone and see like how happy they get from the thing that you gave them. Mm. So I think just that itself, I think it's I think that's my gift. Is God gave me a mind within myself where it's like I'm disciplined and determined on whatever I'm gonna do in my life. Like, I fully believe in myself, and it comes with a price, but I think that's my gift. And I throughout this brand, I'm like growing within myself and who I am as a person, and also to show other people like, yo, like if I could do it, you could do it too. Like why not? Like why can't you start that business? Why can't you chase that dream that you have that keeps you up at night? Like why not? There's no reason. The only person that's holding you back is yourself. So I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think that's my gift to the world and what I'm trying to portray to everyone and with my brand. So
thank you for giving that gift. Yeah. I think you are a shining light of that example. You know, through doing what you're doing, taking on such a tough task of like an apparel company, like to wake up and believe that you could possibly compete with these big dogs every day. Like, that alone is resilience, is perseverance. It's consistency to keep doing it. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's almost as in the existence, it's doing it in itself, if that makes sense. Yeah. That's amazing, man. How do you think you grew up in New York, right? Mm-hmm. How do you think your upbringing in New York may have reflected on your hustler mentality here, man? I don't know. I go back to that sometimes. Like, people from New York are just built different. They've seen a different way of life. I don't know. It's just that's a personal thing. I don't know. Do you resonate with that?
Yeah. Nah, 100% resonate that, because I think even it relates back to my family, bro. I think my biggest idols are my mom and my dad, bro, because seeing them like hustle and struggle, and just as a man, like even I look up to my father because what it is as a man and a role model, just to be able to put food on the table every day. And I think that's a blessing itself, because there's people out here that are hungry and they're starving. They don't have food. So like, just to watch my dad grow up, and even my mother, like, do so much for me and my brother, and as a child and as a kid, like growing up and seeing that, like yo, like one, like damn, bro, like my parents sacrificed a lot, like for me and my brother. And that's what keeps me going to this day, because it's like, the day I really feel like I succeeded is the day I could tell my parents, yo, mom, pa, like, I did it. Like, I want to give back so much to them, because the amount of love and the amount of things that they do to me is endless. Like, there's no, even if my goal is to obviously, like, retire my parents out, or, like, buy them, like, first class, like, vacation somewhere. Like, that's what I want to do, because, like, that's just me saying thank you. And I know that is never enough of, like, all the love and all the support they have given me. So I think growing up in New York and watching that, and watching people, like, on the street, like, even my father, he never came from, like, a good background. Like, the way he was raised, like, Brooklyn, Brownsville, like, the hood. Like, my dad seen more stuff than I've seen, which I'm blessful enough, because they gave me that life, and they gave me that environment where it's like, I don't want you to live how I was growing up, because I don't want that for you. I want you to be better than who I am. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, because I always tell people, I really do believe in it, man. I think the person, that the only man in your life that wants you to do better than they do, like, be better than who they are, I think is your parents. And I really do believe that, because my father, bro, even now, bro, like, my dad comes with me to all my events, bro.
Say, bro, it's always you. Your pop's carrying in the boxes, unpacking them, man.
Bro, like, and bro, I'm, like, so blessed to have a support system like that, because you don't see it nowadays, bro. Like, and it goes past so much of, like, the material stuff. Like, I tell people, that love and that support is priceless, because, like, bro, my dad is 50 years old, working, busting his ass still. Like, he doesn't have to be coming with me to my events and help me. And just him doing that, like, coming with me, I'm like, damn, bro, like that's why I love my father to this day. Like, there's no, like, probably my biggest fan, bro, is him. Because, like, him to, like, go with me, and it shows me, like, damn, bro, like, I'm so thankful to have you. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, obviously I have my brother as well and my father, but at the end of the day, who am I really going to trust that within this, especially in the business life, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know who you can really trust, because you don't know if someone's trying to get something out of you that you just don't know. So,
it's true.
So, like, just to have my father and my support system behind me, and to help me with stuff, because, like, you can't do everything by yourself, bro. Like, I try to now, like, even now, like, it's just me and my dad, and it's just me right now doing all this business, like, stuff. But just having him as a helping hand is a blessing itself, because it's like, you can't, like, any big company you see, they had a team. You can't do nothing by yourself in this world. And that's why even now, bro, like, all the people who buy from me and all the people who follow me, like, without them, this is not possible. Like, without all the people who are helping me, it's not possible. And I've seen that even now, like, throughout, like, the company. Like, I met so many great people like yourself, bro. Like, I met so many dope people where it's like, they're just strangers to me. Like, obviously you just meet them and you don't really know them, but they're willing to give you an arm and leg out for you. And then it goes to show, like, damn, bro, like, there's actually genuine people out there. And, like, like, it's crazy, because even now, bro, like, I have people, like, supposedly were, like, my friends. And I remember I posted this thing the other day, bro. It's crazy, because it hit me. It was like, it said something. It was like, the universe saw you that your own people weren't supporting you. And then it was like, like, on the quote on the bottom, it says the universe, and it says, that's why I brought you strangers.
Ooh.
And that hits so deep, because I'm just like, bro, like, people that I'm meeting that I don't even know are willing to help me. And, like, the amount of gratitude and respect that I have for those people are like, bro, like, thank you. Like, I appreciate you so much, and there's nothing more that I can take from that, because I'm just like, you don't even know me from a hole in the wall. You just know me, obviously, from our first conversation or what I'm trying to build And for you to help me, it shows like it's endless, like it's crazy, like that someone is willing to do that. Yeah. And I think just that itself is a great thing, bro. Like it's a blessing to have other people that you don't know like help you out in something that you're trying to grow. So
it's pretty absurd. It's absurdly beautiful.
Yeah.
We were talking about this last night with a friend of mine who's also an entrepreneur. She said, miracles come in people. And it's these people that come into your life that you would have never expected in a million years to cross paths with, for them to go out of their way to help you and offer X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be. But as you're expressing yourself here, I'm like, I wonder how many of those people you would have come across in a 9-to-5 or in a job where you're just clocking in, showing up, leaving, where there's no risk involved, where there's no, I don't even know how to put it into words, but there's, you know what it is? It's the lack of authenticity. I think you showing up as your authentic self and being you and being like you're DMing people like that. I seen a hustler. I'm like, bet, let's schedule a call. Bet, let's get on. New York, cool. Like awesome. Like I think you putting yourself out there is, and not just you, but like, you know, putting yourself out there in a position of taking on, you know, debt, taking on a loan from somebody. Yeah. People see that, they're like, wait, that's somebody I want to help. Yeah. I don't know how, but I want to make his dreams come true. Yeah. And it's absurd, and it's understandable, but it's hard for me to grasp people who don't have the self-belief to ask more of themselves or of this life. We don't get a redo. No. This is it. This ain't a pretend run. This is the one run we get to do. And why is anyone not doing it wearing their brand on their chest? Why are they not wearing their billboard? Why are they not telling their story? Yeah. I mean, there are people I come across all the time that have a story, that have maybe they haven't blown their knee out the day they got called up to varsity, but they've been through some shit. Yeah. And that, you know, you've been through that shit. Okay, now what are you gonna do about it? Yeah. Like, what kind of character has that developed, or are you just sitting down and not unleashing your potential? Exactly. How do you feel about, like, I don't know, it's like those people, things of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, just in general, like those people who just sit down and don't really believe in themselves, it's tough, because like you said before, like, we only have one life to live, and this is it. Like, I remember we were talking about the other day, bro. We were at the worst party in Fort Lauderdale event, and I remember after the event, I was talking to you, and you were like, there is no plan B. like there is no fucking plan B, bro. Like, this is fucking plan A, boy, and we're gonna run with it. and that's it, bro. Like, there's no plan B. There's and just having that belief, and for those people who don't, like, believe in themselves, it's a tough thing, bro, because, like, you have to truly have that confidence in yourself, because, like, one, you can't care what other people think. You can't care about, like, your image or, like, what are people saying about you, because the more you overthink that, the more you're creating a false image in whatever you're trying to grow. And, like, entrepreneurship, it's like you're putting yourself out there, like you said, like you're putting yourself in front of audience, whether it's like social media, marketing events, like, you're showing your real authentic self, like, and people want to feel relatable to that. Like, even social media now, like, people try to hide all the bad things that people go through in life, but I think that's what brings people together, because it's like you go watch someone's podcast, or like you go see someone's story, and it's like, oh yeah, I did this and this, and now they're successful, or like they came from a lot of money, right? And say that everything was given to them on a platter, and you're like, yeah, it's cool, like that self-image of like that social media can do for people is like you don't know actually what goes into their life. They're just showing you the best things of whatever that outcome is. And I think when people see, like you were talking about before, your authentic self and who you are, because we are all human, bro. Like, we're all gonna fuck up. We're not perfect. Like, and that's what it is. And like, that's why even now, like I said, for 2025, I wanted to show people like my lifestyle, my content, like all the things that people don't see that goes into the brand of like, whether in business, like, bro, I lost money. Like, after that event that I told you about, like the Drake concert, like,
Yeah.
I remember doing another order after, and one of my manufacturers fucked up my entire order, bro. And I lost money in the business. And it goes the same thing of like having that unwavering belief in yourself. It's like, okay, I just lost money. This shit sucks because I just worked my ass off to get it. But are you just gonna sit down, or are you gonna research about more fabric and other manufacturers that are gonna help you within this process? So I think that's what goes into it, bro. It's just like having that like belief in yourself, and like why not? Like, for the people who don't believe in themselves, like I think they should, because you're not just like why are you breathing? Like I feel like what motivates us as humans are the goals and dreams that we have. Like that's what it was for me. Like with basketball, like I woke up every day to train because like I had a goal. And that's what drove me. Like that's what kept me going every day, was like, I'm gonna reach that goal, I'm gonna reach it. And until I get that, I'm not gonna stop. So why am I gonna stop? And I think that's what motivates us as human. Like I feel like if you don't have a dream, or you don't have goals in your life or ambition, how are you living? Like what is keeping you up? Like how are you gonna keep going out your life, like where you're just being nonchalant, like you're just going throughout your day not knowing what's gonna happen? And I think that's just tough. Like obviously you don't have to have everything figured out, but you have to have some type of substantial where you want to be at in life. And I think for people, I think that's a great thing to have, because it keeps you going, it keeps you on your day-to-day life. Like it's like, okay, I have this goal, and what am I gonna do with it? Am I just gonna, like you said, like sit down on my ass like a couch potato, or am I gonna get up and go get it? Because no one's gonna help you in this life. Like at the end of the day, like you gotta believe in yourself to the point where it's like people are gonna think you're crazy, and that like you have to be so obsessive within like whatever you're doing, because that's what it takes for you to be successful. And that's why being successful is not an easy thing. Like, and if it was meant to be for everyone, then everyone would do it. And that's what goes into like the entrepreneurship, being an athlete, because people don't see like it's gonna be hard. Like it's gonna be really fucking hard. Like life is not easy, bro, and everything's not on a silver platter for you. Like you're gonna have to go take it and go get it. And that's the thing of it. So yeah.
What's your last bit of advice for our millions of followers here that are influenced by Nonstop? What do you want to leave them with?
Shit. Damn. What do I want to leave in my last piece of advice?
Because you've been spitting bars, bro. Yeah. This has been great. This has been great.
Man. Okay. All right, I think I got one. Like, since we've been talking about unbelief, I think I want to leave everyone with is that at the end of the day, like, regardless of what people have to say about you and regardless of what others think of you, being yourself and having full confidence in yourself is a great thing. Because like I was talking to my trainer the other day, bro, and I said this to him. I said, yo, the only thing that doesn't leave you is like when the sun is out, is your shadow. That's your best friend, bro, because he's stuck with you wherever you go. So why are you gonna look for someone else's opinion other than yourself to succeed something? Because you are your best advocate. You are your favorite cheerleader, like at the end of the day. Yeah. And I think that itself is, I would like to leave people like, bro, fully believe in yourself and have faith. Like really have faith in yourself regardless of what things look like at this present time. And I think that's something I would like to leave everyone with. Yeah.
Do you have any like specific self-belief practices or anything of that nature?
Yeah.
Like how did you get to this point of self-belief?
For me, honestly, I wouldn't say practice, but some things that I do now, like for everything that I've accomplished in my life, was that I literally have a journal. Like I have a book, and before I go to sleep every night, or like regardless of like if I'm starting a new year, I write down all my goals and all my dreams of like things that I want, regardless of like how big they are or how short they are. And I think just for myself, like writing down things and speaking them out loud, it's a powerful thing, because now it's written. Like it's written down in a book. Like it's solidified. Like you said, you wrote down on a piece of paper that you were gonna do something. And for me, I truly believe in it, because everything that I did up to this point was written before it even happened, which is a crazy thing like to say, because it's true, because I've seen it. Like all my goals, all my dreams, regardless of like basketball, the business, is everything that I've written down. Like I was watching another person who does this was I'm trying to think. There was a movie that came out with the Serena Williams and Venus Williams.
Okay.
It's with I think it was Eddie Murphy, I think, or not
Smith.
Will Smith. There
Will
you
Smith
go.
was the father.
Will
Yeah.
Smith was the father.
Yeah.
And as you see in the movie, if the people who watched it, and if you watch that movie, every night he would have his girls write down their dreams and goals in a book before they went to bed. And people used to think he was crazy. And he wasn't crazy, because now they're one of the two best players of tennis now.
Yeah.
And ever to live. And he said that every day, putting that out there in the universe is just you're manifesting what your life is going to be. So like just writing down your principles and writing down your goals, like it's powerful. And you don't realize how powerful it is until like obviously you hit that plateau where it's like, okay, I did this. Like, bro, if I was to show you my book now, you would be like, what the fuck? Like, bro, I had your company written down on my book before I even DM'd you.
Ooh.
Bro, like it's crazy. Like
Wow.
all the events I have, it's like I remember it was like 2024, and I was like, I have like all the events and all the people that I want to collab with, like all the things that I'm gonna do, and I take like 2 months, 3 months. I write it and I close that book and I leave it, and I don't look at it until like within the next year or so. And sometimes before I go to bed, I'll look at it and I'll just check things off. And you not knowing, like you not thinking about it so much, even though it's already written, because you already made the decision like, yo, this is gonna happen. You don't know when, but it's gonna happen. And it's kind of crazy too, because actually one of my goals, like one of my things that I wrote down was to be on a podcast. And I'm being so serious. This is my first podcast out here in South Florida doing it, and it's with you. And I literally, bro, I'm gonna send a picture to you tonight, because you probably think I'm crazy, but
Nah, I believe it, dude. I really fully believe it.
like,
yeah.
bro, I have on my my book, it says, be on a podcast to be able to show people like my story and to tell people what is behind the brand. And it's literally there, bro. Like it's crazy, because now that it's happening right now, like I'm like, holy shit, bro. I fucking said this was gonna happen. I didn't know how it was gonna happen, but it was gonna happen. So I think that itself, bro, is a beautiful thing. Like really having that mindset of like, yo, this, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. Regardless of how long it takes, how quick it happens, but it will happen.
Yeah, leave the how to God.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Wow. I think we'll leave it there, bro.
Yeah.
Until we can sit down again and hopefully check a couple more boxes off and connect again, man. This is such a pleasure.
Nah, thank you, bro. Like for you giving me the opportunity, and for me to be on your platform, and by using your platform, being able to spread my message and my brand to your audience and my audience as well. Like I tell people, bro, like you don't meet nobody by mistake. Like I really do believe that fate brings people together for a reason. You might not know what that reason is, but I think it's for the benefit of yourself, and I think like-minded people meet other people for that reason. So So yeah, thank you. It was a blessing, and it was great, bro. I loved it.
I
It was
appreciate
amazing,
it,
bro.
Before we go, how can we support you?
Yeah, so you can support me just by either following my Instagram, my brand page, which is non_stop.co on Instagram, and just to see our website is there. You can support me by that, regardless if it's a like. You don't even have to spend money, like buy the clothing. Just if you just like the
Buy a fucking t-shirt, will you, you cheap bastard?
Yeah, bro. It doesn't, like, supporting someone else doesn't cost you nothing. Like a slight repost, a like on something like that goes miles. Like no matter what that is. So that's the way you can support me. Is just follow the brand, follow non_stop.co, and I would love for anyone who sees this video to come out to more of events that we have coming out, and we have more things that are coming. Like I have a new spring collection that's coming out. My summer collection that I have are going to be mainly for athletes, because the collection is going to be called the Athletic Collection, because it's more so to show people like the lifestyle and show people like what the brand really means, and to deal with like basketball players, football players, like soccer players. So it's coming, but it's in the works. But that's what's coming soon. But yeah, bro.
Amazing, dude. So pumped.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
very much, bro. That was dope. That was dope, man.